Hi guys, Yacca here. So we're up for part 2 of the card review for Forged in the Barrens, and these are really interesting cards, and we have an old returnee from Gadgetsan. Interesting. Let's go on in and see who that is and how I evaluate the cards. Do remember to subscribe to the channel, and comments and likes are always welcome. But let's have a look at the cards that's been revealed today. First up, we have a card for Demon Hunter. It is the Razorfen Beastmaster, and this just the stat line on the card, no matter which game mode we are receiving this in. A 3 mana 3/3. That's not really the strongest stat line for a minion at this point in time in Hearthstone. So the effect has to be really good, and the effect is can be strong, but right now it doesn't really have a good suit in any of the cards. It had a look through all the cards that we know of today, and of course we don't know the entire set as it is. So it might mean that you get a lot more support for kind of a death rattle Demon Hunter build, which is actually viable. But right now, from what we know, there is in dire need of a lot more support for this card to actually work. Because the contingencies of this death rattle is that, of course, you have to put this on the board, and it has to die. And then you also need to have a death rattle minion that costs 4 or less in your hand. There's some really great death rattle cards in Demon Hunter, but they are way more expensive. I'm not really convinced with no extreme additions to this build in Demon Hunter. I actually do not see this as something that will, at least for this rotation, work out from what we know of the cards that's been revealed so far. And it's kind of the same deal in Arena. You really need a specific deck for this to be good, to get these effects triggered, because it will lose out to any regular 3-drop as it is today. A 3 mana 3/4 stat line is what you many times will see today. And therefore this one doesn't really hold up to that level. Therefore I rate them 2 stars. This one 2 stars in both game modes. Then we have a Demon Hunter legendary card, Kurtrus Ashfallen. I'm not sure, I probably slaughtered that name completely. But anyway, he is tying into this outcast mechanic. He's a 4 mana 3/4, which is actually a poor stat line, but his battle cry allows him to attack the left and rightmost minion as he is played as a battle cry. This is quite bad when you have a poor stat line. However, if he is in the outcast position, you do get immunity on the turn that you drop him. This means that you are kind of guaranteed a small removal, like 3 damage on both sides, if you can get him to be outcast, and then you leave a 3/4 body on the board. Sorry. And that's actually quite strong. You just need to make sure that this goes to outcast. There's really only 2 cards that are at the very end of your hand which can be outcast. So this can be kind of awkward to manage your hand like this. And there's no specific need slash requirement for a card like this in any of the existing archetypes for Demon Hunter. Maybe if there's going to be some kind of another mid-rangey kind of deck being pushed other than Soul Demon Hunter, then maybe this could see play. But right now I do see that he needs a bunch of more support, as it is for the constructed side. For Arena, however, the chances for cards to be outcast, you naturally use up your cards over the course of the game, and You don't try to buy into a specific game plan. You need to make value trades. It's really around the basics of Hearthstone. There's a much higher chance, the way I see it, it's not going to be an insane card in the arena the way I see it. But it's going to do something that is really good and game swinging in the arena when you do get this one and the outcast effect off. And therefore I do rate it a little bit higher in the arena. Then we have another of Jaina's apprentices, apparently. But this one is a Reckless Apprentice. So the stat line is kind of okay. It passes the vanilla test of being a 4 mana 3/5. It's kind of okay. But I think the battle cry this minion really this minion has is completely crazy. So you do get to activate your hero power without using mana, and then you ping each and every minion and also your opponent in the face when you drop the Reckless Apprentice. And this ties in together really efficiently with the next card I'll show you guys. But this one is so much, this card really does so much that just as a standalone card it's really powerful. And I do see that this will be, it seems like there's going to be pushed some kind of game mechanic or some kind of mage archetype which revolves around the hero power of mage. And if there's enough support, then it is definitely something that could see play in the meta. And usually when cards are printed like this, there are other cards, for instance the Soul Fragment stuff. I remember when I did the review of that, it was kind of like, yes, if there's enough support for it, this is going to be good. And I said that around each and every reveal of the cards, and it turned out to be good. A lot of the Soul Fragments are run in a bunch of different decks, and especially in Soul Demon Hunter. And therefore I do think that this one ties into that, saying, yes, I do believe there will be a little bit more support. I think there's also some returning cards, which, as to my knowledge, also has some kind of effect on the mage hero power. And with that in mind, I do think that there's a bunch of synergies that actually pushes like a hero power mage into existence. And that's why I rate it so high. It's a supporting card, so I rated 4 stars. It's not going to go into each and every mage deck, but it's pretty close to, and I might be wrong here. And for Arena, having this AoE connected to a solid body is crazy. So this is an always draft in the Arena. It's really powerful, and it's definitely what you want to get out of the out of your draft in there. And here we have it, the card that makes everything come together with this new mage archetype that we could foresee actually happening in this next expansion. Mordress Fireeye, which is a 10 cost legendary with a 10/10 stat line, and just that alone more or less just passes the vanilla test. And when you are on that level of cost for a single card, you need to do a massive amount of things, because it is such a high investment. It's the only thing you'll be doing that turn. Fortunately, you are doing a lot. You need to, there's a prerequisite for this card to work. So you need to deal 10 points of damage with your hero power. Connected with the card I just showed you, this is manageable. So therefore, this is something that we do see get some support already now, and I expect there will. I could expect there to be even more, and it's just natural for a mage to want to use the hero power in certain situations. And the effect is that you deal 10 points of damage to each and every minion, each and every enemy. So this is each and every minion and also your opponent's face. Sometimes we've seen mage decks actually run a Pyroblast, and that's a 10 mana deal 10 points of damage. this one, on top of dealing 10 points of damage to your opponent's face, also deal 10 points of damage to each and every minion on the board, and it leaves a 10-10 body on the board as well that your opponent has to deal with, or else another 10 points of damage are coming face. I just think that this will be tried out, and if it is feasible as an archetype, this is going to be a staple in the coming meta for Mage. So if it lines up competitively with the other decks, and they in power level, however compared to the Mage, actually lines up, I think this could be the deck, the centerpiece of a deck, which will take over from other Mage archetypes, since we're now losing, for instance, Highlander Mage. So really, really powerful and constructed. In Arena, it's a completely different story. You want to use your hero power, it's definitely good value in the Arena, but using 20 points of damage in order to deal 10 points, because you're not guaranteed to get any synergy cards. I don't push it all the way to 1, because there is a chance that you get a good draft where you do get the synergy cards and all this kind of stuff, and then it could work. But it's not guaranteed in a way where, as opposed to Constructed, where you can just set the deck that you want and guarantee that Mordress is going to be good whenever you drop in on turn 10. So it is definitely a huge disconnect between the two game modes, but for Constructed, he's going to be awesome. Then we have Cannon Master Smythe, and he is a legendary for Paladin. A 5 mana 4/4, which is kind of a poor stat line for the mana cost, but he does have a battle cry that transforms your secrets. So now they're not secrets anymore, they're minions. 3/3 minions with a death rattle that states that you will get the secret back whenever the minion is destroyed. This is really powerful. It's a powerful card. Of course, you need to be able to set a deck to be able to do this. And this is also why there's a huge disconnect between Arena and also Constructed. But just even getting just one secret is probably not too crazy. But 2 secrets and above, it is really great. So it's and I see with some of the returning good secrets that we have in from the core set, and probably more coming up, there's probably going to be more synergies around Cannon Master Smythe that pushes this into being an archetype where you from Paladin's side it might be playable. It might be something where you could have supporting whatever game plan you otherwise decide for the deck that you have, because it's a one-off and you're not guaranteed to draw this. But if you have a good amount of synergies around this, then it is definitely something that could work for Paladin. This might fall, I'm going out on a limb saying it's 4 stars here, it might fall completely flat on its face, but the effect is just so powerful that I do think it is feasible to see and to acknowledge that this could be an archetype that works. What has to be said around the death rattles, you can, whenever you dictate the trades, you actually get to see which secret is held within the soldier that you're doing the trade with, but your opponent does not know this. So whenever they are trading, they don't know exactly which secrets are popping up. For instance, if it's in a tournament environment, your opponent knows, or if it's a true and tried deck of a meta, your opponent knows which kind of secrets is usually run in the Paladin. But when they can't see what minions are holding on to which secrets and they have to prioritize, they might prioritize in a different way. They might prioritize wrong when thinking about which kind of trades they should and want to do. So this is worth noting. I can just show you the the Northwatch Soldier, which is the ones that will be generated out of the secrets. So, a powerful card, but for Arena, you have to consider this as a 5 mana 4/4 and therefore horrible. You're not guaranteed to get any secrets, and secrets in the Arena are not usually all that powerful when lined up against other cards that you know will do something specific for your deck. So probably not a card in the Arena that you want to draft unless the other choices are completely trash. Then this one is, you probably want to go for some other legendaries in the Arena. Then we have an 8 mana epic card, a 6/6 stat line, so quite a poor stat line for the card in itself. However, it does have a really powerful battle cry. You draw your highest cost spell, and then you summon a random minion with the same cost. And just looking at 8, maybe 9, but also 10 mana spells. Or minions, which is, if you, those are the spells that you have as at the highest cost in your deck. You do have some high rolls there, but you definitely do also have some low rolls. But worth considering is that for those extra points of mana, you do get also the 6/6 body of the Primordial Protector on the board. So in itself, it doesn't have rush, it doesn't have taunt, it doesn't have a specific impact, but there's a lot of value packed into this card. Worth noting is that although this is a powerful effect, it doesn't go into each and every deck that you could find. There's some decks like I would say Sulak, but Sulak also runs Hand of Gul'dan, which is a 6 mana spell, but that's the top end of it. And if you already drawn those, then you do only have 1 cost spells left in the Sulak build usually. Therefore, this does not go into each and every deck. It needs to be like a high mid-range or control deck which can use this as a value generator, and there it can be just fine, but it is not used everywhere, and it could also be kind of a tech inclusion specifically to tutor out a specific spell that your deck revolves around and gives you more draws. And when you have tech cards like this that edges out or supports a game strategy that you do have or could develop in some decks in this upcoming expansion, then it's worth to say, well, if the decks are there for it, it could be a stable in there, because it's both card draw and minion generation. And therefore I do rate it 3 stars for constructed, because it tutors specific things and it has a high value. And for Arena, even getting like a 3 or 4 mana spell as the highest spell that you have in your deck, that's worth enough value in the limited format that is Arena, that it's okay as a top end card, because you also have the card draw aspects of it. It's okay in the Arena as well, even though it's a high mana investment. So quite an okay card for both game modes, worth considering in the upcoming expansion. And then we have Kazakus, that old scoundrel from Gadgetzan. The last time we saw him was in the expansion Mean Streets of Gadgetzan. And I do remember from that point in time that he saw a bunch of play. The challenge with Kazakus, and why there's not a huge amount of stars down there, is that he has a drawback. He has a powerful battle cry. When he is summoned, you get to kind of, instead of developing a potion, you get to build a golem. But the prerequisite is that he's the only 4-cost card that you can have, or at least you need to have drawn all 4-cost cards at the point in time that you play Kazakus. So either he's a very late game option, or your deck just doesn't run any other 4-drops than this. Just to show you the golems, you could have a 1 mana 1/1 as the base stat line of the golem that you're building, 5 mana 5/5, and also 10 mana 10/10. And the highest tempo golems are of course the lesser and greater golem, because they will allow you to do something early with the lesser golem. On turn 5 you can play those 2 cards. but the Greater Golem could be like a value card for late game when you can both drop Kazakus and that one as well. The only example that we have at the point of me recording this is that it was a Greater Golem created with Taunt, so there's probably going to be some kind of choice mechanics where you say it's either Taunt, maybe Rush, Divine Shield, Frenzy maybe for some kind of effect or whatever might be the case. And the Greater Golem also had a battle cry of say drawing 2 cards. So it's probably where you need to choose 2 effects out of a pool of different mechanics that you want to add to the Golem. So it might be powerful enough to do. But worth noting is that previously I did a video on hypergeometric distribution, which is the probability of drawing a certain card or a number of different cards in a deck of cards. And whenever you are, whether you are either first or second in the draft and you do a full mulligan, you say you only want to draw for Kazakus, you do a full mulligan, you want to make sure you have your 4-drop for turn 4 and you want to do a powerful turn there. The range of the percentage chance of you getting Kazakus, and I revisited the math a little bit on this, it only resides between 25% to 30% roughly in that area, no matter if you are on the coin or not. Where if you're on the coin because you have more cards in hand, you can do a full mulligan, all this kind of stuff, then you have a higher chance of actually getting Kazakus, but it's still very, very low. So 70% at least of your games, you won't have a strict turn 4 play, unless of course your deck is built around it in a way where you then just drop a 3 and a 1 or 2 2-drops. So therefore I do see that there is a chance with enough support and the right deck and all this kind of stuff, there could be there could be a chance for Kazakus to see play. So I won't rule him out, at least for Constructed. But for Arena, it is a very specific deck he goes into if there's ever a chance for it. Of course the effect is powerful and all that, but you cannot skip out on your turn 4 whenever you are a mid-range deck in the arena and trying to stick minions on the board. That drawback is simply that's not something that you want to go for. So choose something different in the arena, unless you naturally run into him as the only natural 4-drop. You won't probably go far in the arena with that specific draft, but then you can draft him, then that's perfectly fine. So guys, that sums up this day's worth of card reveals, and I am completely stoked and psyched for tomorrow. It's going to be interesting to see. There's a lot more cards than we had today. The way I remember it, it might be a short day. They're kind of like short days where there's not that many card reveals and then there's a lot. But I am thrilled to see what is coming up for tomorrow, and I can't wait to review them. Right now it seems like there's going to be a bit of a shake-up, and that's really great. That's always fun to see what we'll make up of the cards that we have coming in. And it's less than a fortnight away, so it's going to be crazy fun to see. Thanks for watching, guys.